All right. Sunday night at the Van Elswicks, and the kids are going to be in the background, and I will not be editing it because this is just real life for I guess, well, the average family. Tonight's dinner is, I call it a Delmonico. Other people just call it a boneless ribeye, but this is completely different from what the average person has. 100% full-blood Wagyu. On top of that, and I think there's only 3 or 5 farms in the United States even have that. This one comes out of Wisconsin. But this is also 100% grass-fed and 100% grass-finished. Bread was prepped at 9:03 a.m. and that recipe I'll put in there. It'll also be on the website. The Dutch oven has a few more minutes to go. We're obviously this is going to go in. I guess I shouldn't say obviously. We're prepped at what, 450 degrees for 30 minutes without the lid. And the next shot will be, we're going to do red potatoes also in the oven. Now, me personally, I only, for my Wagyu steaks, which is primarily all that I eat, I only put salt on, not table salt. It's either Himalayan salt or, this is where people are getting at me, celery or Celgris salt, which I do sell, and it's called Celtic salt or French gray salt. But that will be on tonight. And then the other problem we're going to have is, since this is also going to be shared with the wifey, is she likes me to destroy it. So she likes it overcooked, where I just like it like the normal person. Just sear it, bloody rare inside, especially Wagyu steak, because you want to enjoy all that good fat. So we will go to a commercial break and come back next with the potatoes already prepped. So we have to prep the dough for the Dutch oven. So sprinkle a little flour down there so it doesn't stick. Now, me personally, I like to use olive oil in my hands, and yes, my hands are clean. Just grab it out, nice scoop, and see it doesn't stick to the pan, so this was good. I personally like to get that olive oil all through it. Again, you don't have to use the olive oil, but this is just me. Now what we're going to do is let this sit for 20 minutes. I'm asking my personal chef behind me that helps me, half an hour, 20 minutes. And this will rise, hopefully, this will rise back to where it should be. And next shot will be putting it in the Dutch oven. So the potatoes are already cut. Let's just see if I can do it. I mean, 1/4 inch, a third, real, just a nice thin. Again, this is a personal preference on the thickness. No, it's not really, any big deal. The olive oil, I do, yes, not shameless plugs, I do sell olive oils. This isn't, I do sell this one, but we're just going to sprinkle on some nice olive oil. I prefer to use, I don't know, high-end, or whatever you want to call it. Now the seasoning, again, options are endless. This was just, what was it? Himalayan salt, rosemary, and
pepper.
just pepper. It's just a real basic. Just stirred it around. Spread out the olive oil. This is how I personally do it. My mother used to do it. Put it in a whole pot and do it. I am just lazy. I don't like to clean dishes. I'm just being honest. Now this, probably not going to be enough, but I don't like much seasoning on mine. You can also use your hands. Whoops. I always sprinkle it out, and that's why, because when I use my hands, I don't know, for some reason it just doesn't come out. So, and it's time to season the Wagyu. Again, obviously personal preference with the salt. Most people put a ton of salt on. For me, this is actually a lot of salt. I normally don't put it this much, but we're experimenting with something, and I will let this sit. This has already been room temperature for about 3 hours. And now I'll let this sit just for a few more minutes. And me personally, I'm only going to season one side. Again, it's always personal preference. Again, I know the average person loves salt, so I know a lot of my customers will season the second side. But obviously, you know, it's just the way I do it. The bread is slowly rising, and next we'll be putting everything in the oven and starting to sear that steak. All right, we are back. Now it's time to the oven. The Dutch oven was preheated for well over 30 minutes with the lid off. This is where I always mess up and I get yelled at. So, ain't that nice and pretty? Nice blue. And I lost my trusty orange mitt that I normally use. That lid goes on for a half an hour. Oh wait. Little parchment paper was left over. I want that to, oop, now the other one's on there. Little weird things I like to care about. So now this will go in the oven, like I said, for a half an hour. So the top oven is preheated at 435. They'll go in for, I'll be checking in about 25 minutes into it. Now the top oven is a nice low temperature. Medium to low heat. And this is the wifey's. And I'm going to have to turn the fan on, so we'll probably have to come back because it's going to be so noisy you won't be able to hear it. But again, Wagyu beef, I probably started an internet fight over this. Wagyu beef should be on a really nice low temperature because you want to keep a lot of that fat inside. And another thing I want to say is I watched a movie last night, The Gentleman, where the guy from the motorcycle one was searing a Wagyu steak on top of a grill. And that's a personal pet peeve of mine, but we'll do a personal video about that one in the near future. So mine will just be seared for a few minutes, and then I will be flipping it and searing it on the other side for a few minutes. Hers I'll keep flipping because again she likes hers destroyed, just totally overcooked. So I just got yelled at because I skipped some steps, anyway. But one thing you're going to notice in my videos is when I mess up, and it's just the way it is, because just the way the cookie crumbles, because we all mess up sometimes. And okay, well, what we messed up on was, normally I'm really lazy and I don't like to clean a lot of dishes, but normally I know when my mom used to, she just sort of put it in a pan and throw the potatoes around in the oil so they stuck to the aluminum foil. So we are all set for dinner. Again, 100% FullBlood WAGYU. That is 100% grass-fed and 100% grass-finished. So it tastes completely different from your average Wagyu in many different ways. The dipping sauce is just a generic bread dipping sauce, nothing special. I used the first day of harvest olive oil from Spain. And I think that's it for this video. So I'm gonna try to upload at least 3 a week. I don't know what days, but that'll come in the next video as I'm watching my wife blah 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 behind the camera. So I appreciate everybody watching.